Wonderful. Thank you so much, Colleen. It's so great to have you join us today and share a little bit about Pendulum. Before we kick things off, just going to give a brief little introduction to you so folks know your background, and then I'll turn it over to you to talk a little bit about the brand and more in depth about you. But Colleen is the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of Pendulum. She has more than 15 years experience leading and managing biology teams in academia, pharmaceuticals, and biotechnology. Prior to starting at Pendulum, Colleen was the senior manager of biology at Pacific Biosciences and a scientist at Elon Pharmaceuticals. We are so grateful that Dr. Bauer, ISPA's medical advisor, connected us with Pendulum, a new ISPA member that you'll get to meet at conference. And Colleen, I will turn it over to you to share a little bit about your story.
Sure. Well, yes, my background is in pretty hardcore basic science research. So I have a PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology from Johns Hopkins. I then did a pretty traditional postdoc at Northwestern, and then I moved out to San Francisco where I worked at a pharmaceutical company. We were developing drugs for Parkinson's disease. And then I joined a startup company, which is what you do when you live in Silicon Valley. And so this startup company was building DNA sequencing instruments, and that company went through rapid growth and went public. And on the other side of that IPO, I started this company, Pendulum. And the company was really premised on two things. One is that even though probiotics and yogurts have been on the shelves for forever, they've really had the same ingredients in them. So the same lactobacillus and bifidobacterium strains. And there's this whole new opportunity through DNA sequencing that allowed us to understand there are so many other probiotic strains out there that we hadn't even known existed, and we don't know what they do. And is there an opportunity to really tackle other parts of health through using DNA sequencing technology and starting to look at other things in the microbiome? So that was one part. And then the second part was, could we develop products that were naturally occurring products? So strains that many of us have when we're young. And I think we all remember a time when we could eat or drink whatever we wanted to. We didn't have to worry about it. And over time, we don't need a doctor to tell us that our metabolism starts to slow down. Are there ways in which we can naturally give our bodies back some of these little machines that we used to have in terms of our gut microbiome, so that we don't have to turn to drugs and things like that for all of our medical needs? And so it was really, there's this whole new science and whole new treasure trove of probiotics. And then can we actually create things that have efficacy for people in health? And that was really just, for me, a really exciting new field to be a part of. And we've been at this for a little over 10 years now.
Wow, that's amazing. And I mentioned that Dr. Bauer had referred us to you. He's ISPA's medical advisor. But also, when my husband and I went to Fountain Life recently, we got some supplements and nutraceuticals recommended to us. And one of them was Akkermansia, just coincidentally. So, yeah, it's been amazing. It's been a great opportunity for us to learn a little bit more too. And with there being so many different products out there on the market, and it can be a little confusing for people to select even a probiotic or any nutraceutical, what advice can you give folks as they're looking to make a purchase?
Well, it is super confusing. If any of us have ever stood, at a Whole Foods or CVS and looked at all the probiotics and prebiotics and now postbiotics on the shelves, it can be very confusing. And I think one of the things that we're all going to have to start doing is reading labels. And I think when we start reading labels, that's when we can start to understand the difference between these different probiotics. And I think actually that's when we'll start to realize that a lot of them are kind of the same. And so, as I said, if you start to read labels, you'll see that everything really starts with lactobacillus or bifidobacterium. And these are strains that we've known about for a very long time that generally play a role in GI distress and helping people with things like gas and bloating and diarrhea and constipation. I think what we can start to expect from the space over the next 5 to 10 years are products that are targeting more than just our GI. Our gut health is at the core of all of our health. Our gut is interacting with our metabolism, with our cardiovascular health, with our immune system, with our inflammatory response, and even with our brain. And so I think what we're going to start to find is that there are going to be new probiotics, next generation probiotics that start to enter the market that are really helping us tackle things beyond just kind of what's been out there to date.
That's great. And moving forward into the spa space, how can Pendulum really help a spa director that's overworked, overtaxed now? How do they become an expert to help their customers and even their employees that are coming in to know what's right for them?
So I think, we've been really focused on the gut metabolism axis and thinking about how your gut can help you metabolize your foods. And it seems sort of counterintuitive. We usually think about probiotics as helping us with our GI health. But actually, if you think about it, everything you eat goes to your gut and it gets metabolized there. And we have microbes there that are actually literally helping us metabolize our foods in ways that we can't metabolize them. So when we're looking across our Pendulum products, our first product, our flagship product, is called Pendulum Glucose Control, and that is for people with type 2 diabetes. That has been clinically shown to lower A1C and lower blood glucose spikes in people with type 2 diabetes, and that's been published in BMJ. And so if you have somebody with type 2 diabetes and you're trying to help them metabolize their sugars better and lower their A1C and lower their blood glucose spikes, we have Pendulum Glucose Control. There is nothing else like that out there. These are novel proprietary strains that you can't find anywhere else. And so that's kind of our big flagship product. And then if you have people who are trying to metabolize their sugars and carbs better, but they don't necessarily have type 2 diabetes. So they have prediabetes or obesity, or they have diabetes running in their family, or they're just aging. This product called Metabolic Daily is really for anybody who's trying to metabolize their sugars and carbs better. And then we also sell the single strains. And so what you just showed is Akkermansia. That's one of the strains that's becoming sort of really this important keystone strain in our guts. And so if people are just trying to enhance their gut lining, that strain, basically, if we just take a little science detour here, what that strain does is it really helps you maintain your gut lining. And so our gut lining, I think of it like in my backyard, I have a fence. It has all these wooden planks that are held together by glue. And when I first moved in, that fence was super strong, but over time and through weather and wear and tear, the glue can start to get weak, the planks can start to fall. Your gut lining is exactly the same way. You have these epithelial cells, they're all lined up as these planks, and you have this glue, which is called mucin, that holds them together. And Akkermansia is the only strain that has ever been discovered whose job it is all day and all night is to sit there at that fence and strip away the old glue when it gets old and put up new glue. And so it keeps the integrity of that fence really strong. And that's really important, to have a strong gut lining and a strong fence for your gut lining, because if it gets weak, and when you have this thin mucin layer, you can start to get what a lot of people refer to as leaky gut. And that's where things are leaking literally across your gut lining and into your bloodstream and causing all sorts of issues with inflammation, immune responses. And so Akkermansia is a strain that is really there to maintain that gut lining. And so that's kind of the way to think about it. You got someone with type 2 diabetes, or you have somebody who's really trying to metabolize sugars and carbs better, or you're just trying to strengthen somebody's gut lining and really, focus on that. You would go for Pendulum Glucose Control, Metabolic Daily, or Akkermansia.
That's great. And the idea is that Pendulum would be able to partner with the spas, the resort hotels or day spas, destination spas, and help educate their consumer and, as I mentioned, their employees in why these products are so valuable to them.
Exactly. And I think, spas and resorts spas, it's a huge opportunity for education and for bringing products into people's lives, because you're really serving as a escape from the chaos of day to day. When people enter the spa, it's really an opportunity for them to lift their heads up and really, exhale and take a moment to think about all the things that they're doing in their daily routine. And so it's because people are really open to understanding and thinking about their health and products that can help them with their health. I think spas have such a huge opportunity to educate people and help them. And probiotics may be one of the most confusing spaces to work in. And so I think if we sort of hone in on, okay, this is going to help you metabolize foods better, that's really an opportunity to give people something that they otherwise probably wouldn't know about and wouldn't be thinking about. And so we're super excited to have the opportunity to partner with any spas that are interested in partnering with us, and really bringing this gut health into the, knowledge and routines of people.
And as you mentioned, the spas are such a trusted resource for their consumers. Even the day spas they see their consumers on a more regular basis than some resort hotels do. So really having that trusted resource, and that's one thing that ISPA is most proud of, is that we can bring those products and services to our members. So it's been wonderful to have a chance to connect with you. And if there's anything else that you would like to share or anything that you feel like you haven't shared that you want to communicate to the community, what would it be?
I'm just really excited for this next frontier of next generation probiotics and working together between Pendulum and all of the spas out there to help educate people and bring them products that are really going to help them just improve their lives. I'm just really excited about it. And so thank you for allowing me to come share what we're building.
Well, we're thrilled that you guys are a featured brand and we appreciate you and we look forward to watching this adventure grow. And thank you for taking your time and thank you for all that you're doing as well.
Thank you.